Ready?
Everyone, it's Monday. Terry is with me from home.
I have no idea what the date is, so
It's the 6th of April.
okay. There you have it.
So today we're going to cover a number of things. I think we're going to cover our view of the take-home color kits. I know that many people are doing it. I know it's a very controversial issue. And I think that we might stir something up, and it's unintended. I think that it's time that our people, our group, PSC's customers, kind of know where we stand on that and how we feel about it. I think that going forward with take-home hair color, in all the different ways that I've seen it, whether it's pre-mixed and sent home, I think that's problematic. I think sending home the actual color, maybe pre-measured and in a different vessel, is problematic. I think sending developer home in their hands or lightener is all potentially dangerous to the consumer. I think that it's, I'm questioning right now whether it's legal or not. I know that it's not from a standpoint of the fact that the packaging is not labeled for retail sale. Anything labeled for retail sale has to have the ingredient list on it. I know that it's when you start putting that in customers' hands, anything could happen, and if it did happen, it could be quite dangerous to the reputation of the salon, the hairdresser, our industry, and the likes. So
well, and from what I'm hearing is it really puts your license in jeopardy should you be reported. Who wants to play around that slippery slope, right? So
yeah, there's the possibility of fines. It's again, depending on which state. We're in Illinois and Indiana, so depending on which state, depending on the fact, there's a question as to whether the manufacturer's warranty or guarantee extends beyond the four walls of the salon and beyond the usage of the hairdresser's hands. I think it's just a very risky thing. I get it. I understand that the clients, we've said this before on these broadcasts, that there's going to be more and more pressure from clients to do something, because thank God we're in a vain society. That vanity works for us 9 times.
Most of the time, yes.
It works for us when we're open, when we're scheduling appointments and time in the salon, where you can use not only your time but your knowledge to be able to deliver extraordinary service. I don't see sending just the product home with them as delivering extraordinary service. Even in the fact where you've got people available to do FaceTime calls or Zoom calls while they're applying the color at home, I think that we've got to be very careful with that, because the reality is that most of our industry, most of the staff in a salon are collecting unemployment. And if you're scheduling time with a guest over electronic means, you're working. And I think that gets rather iffy. And we would hate to see you disqualified from the needed funds of unemployment compensation at a time when you need it really so significantly. The take-home product, retail, is different than professionally used product. It's designed to go home. It's labeled for retail. You've already consulted them. These are people. I doubt there's very many new sales that are going on right now. I think it's people replenishing what they already use, what you've already recommended for them, and what they're used to buying from you. They just need it now. And so many of you are scheduling pickup days and times of the week.
You have a thought, or are you frozen?
Some are doing 3 days a week. Some are doing every day. It's just different from one to the next. But I will say that makes sense, because you're talking about a known entity that doesn't have a chemical challenge to it like hair color does, lightener, and developers have. So our stance on it is this, that when we take the product, when we take color and developer and a bowl, I've seen some really cute things, some beautiful things. I've seen people including a magazine to read during processing time, bowls and brushes, you know, bring them back and we'll give you, you bring them back, almost like the gallon of milk, the glass gallon of milk, they'll give you credit for it when you bring it back. There's some cute things that are going on, but cute doesn't necessarily mean that it's good business. And from us to you, we want you to know that we think you're taking unnecessary risk in this, and we do not recommend it. I think that when you do that, you take the magic out of your hands and you put the magic into that tube and into that developer. And really what you're saying is, my juice, my color is better than box color that's in the grocery store. And that's the only difference, is that I've got better stuff in the bottle. The reality is, what's always made colorists brilliant is your knowledge.
It's the application.
It's that product plus your knowledge, plus your delivery of that service, the service experience, that makes it extraordinary, makes it worth more money, makes it worth the value added. And I think that when we take that away from the guest, we are we're going backwards. And I think you're running the risk of, hey, you know, maybe I've been surprised, maybe I've been taken it, maybe box color from the grocery store really is just as good. And I just wouldn't go there, because it's not, first of all. But you also don't want to take that spotlight off of you. So how could you? I saw a Salon Today online that was doing a beautiful job of showing people how they could do root touch-ups with things they already had in the house. I thought it was genius. I thought it was brilliant. They were using cosmetics that they already had and applying them to the regrowth area. And brilliant, beautiful, absolutely beautiful results. There are products out there that are made just for that. And of course, that's the easy way to go, and it's an additional sale. But there are ways that we, the professional, can be teaching a non-permanent change that would put unnecessary questionary chemicals in the hands of an unlicensed person in order to be able to address that touch-up situation. So we're going to challenge you. Let's get in a think tank. Let's challenge each other as a salon team. How can we do that? How can we deliver a message to our customers, your group of clients, guests that are in need of your service, and A, encourage them to wait, B, teach them how they can live in this situation and do some minor touch-ups and things that they already have at home to be able to look their best during this time. And I think that you'll be really, really glad you did that. Now, you have to put that, if we're not going to sell the box, you know, the take-home color kits, then I think that we have to really pay attention to, I think it was our video number 6 that talked with Terri's program of limited menu and the week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I saw some people online today saying, hey, we're coming back. We're scheduled to come back the 18th, or we're scheduled to come back this date or that date. I just think you're setting yourself up to have to change a date again. And what happens if you fill up the 18th through the end of April and May starts to fill up, and then all of a sudden that date gets pushed back? Then where are you going to put the April clients that made the reservations first? How are you going to move them in or on top of or aside of the people that have already scheduled with you for May? So if we say we're going to reset the guest schedule, the appointment book, the reservation book, and we're going to start with week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 after we come back, and then fill them in, do a limited service schedule. Might be haircuts and retouch, That might be all you do for the first month. And,
Or 60 days, yeah.
and we create the right dialogue for the service. We create the right dialogue for when a guest gets in contact with the stylist, either through social media or any which way that they do. It's happening, and the pressure is increasing. And we've got to know exactly how to coach that situation for our staff to talk to their guests. Because remember, a lot of our staffs are young people that haven't had to have maybe difficult conversations frequently with people that are older than them, besides their parents. And we know that doesn't always go well. So how do we teach? How do we create that dialogue? Here's how: when a guest says, can't you just meet me at the salon? Can't you just come to my house? Can't you just give me the formula? What is your salon going to say that makes people feel better? And how are we going to deliver that in an elegant fashion? And you might say, we made a decision a long time ago that it would be better to apologize because we have to say no today than to apologize forever when something goes wrong, to apologize forever because we let you down, or apologize forever because, God forbid, we infected you or you infected us. We have to pay attention to the science. We have to pay attention to our leaders, and we have to say no when it's time to say no. And I know that's hard. I know we're in the business of saying yes. We're in the business of that's customer service, is always say yes, and that's not customer service. There's times where you can't say yes. There's times where you just have to say, here's what I can do. They don't want you to say no, but if you tell them what you can do, I think that can be extremely positive. So that's number one. I encourage you to, if you have a mechanism in place where you can do the drive up for take-home sales, or I know that there's some of you that are using manufacturers' codes and their websites for filling some of the need for product. Whatever way you've addressed it, I think you should address it. I know I talked to a couple of salons today that are just doing it brilliantly and having great success with it. So it's a great thing. So there's lots of positive, believe it or not, that's coming out of this.
Well, and I think we need to recap the week 1, week 2, week 3, because I think that it might be to our own understanding a little bit still. We're thinking about having you make reservations without a start date, only with a week number. So if you open up, let's say today you opened up, and you would have, this would become week 1. But the beauty of counting and developing a scheduling pattern with your guest based on a week number versus a date is that week number can go into effect any time that we're opened up to take reservations. And that's the nice part about it. When you do your group message out to everyone and say, okay, week 1, we're going to start servicing you on April 30th. Now, but we've already have those reservations in place. And remember, with the limited menu, we also still can probably expedite our services a lot more quickly, knowing we're only going to allow this for a touch-up and this for a haircut during this time. Excuse me. It's not the company, I assure you. So, but it'll allow you to maximize the amount of guests that you can get in. So I think you can start taking reservations. Just tell them they're going to be scheduled the first Monday on week 1, or the Tuesday on week 3. So whatever that is. But it just makes total sense to me from
the other thing.
A scheduling standpoint.
That I would take away would be, I would take away the ability to schedule online just for a period of time.
Oh gosh, yes. You have to have absolutely control of the schedule right now and not allow any creativity. I mean, if your schedule allows you only to do touch-ups or allows you to change your defaults during this time, we would support it. But I think that that human interaction of being able to know what we're trying to accomplish I think is really key.
Okay, so that's, again, if you want to get that in the kind of in-depth at a granular level, that it's on our message number 6, the one day at a time ODAT 6. It was last week, and I think that it'll give you some great information. The other thing that's going on is that as this time goes on, I think we're all further in than we hoped we would be. We're on ground, again, that we've never been on before, right? We've never been in a situation before where the salons have just been closed, where the barbershops have just been closed, massage therapists, nail techs. I had to do a nail, what's it called, a dip. Terri has dip. I had to do a dip removal on her nail.
It was not a pretty
I have been
sight.
trained somewhat in nails, just so that you all know. I did take a class years ago, and I was up to the challenge.
It didn't work, but that's okay.
So, the point is, we're on ground we haven't been on before, and don't pass up the chance to think about. I saw a great meme today that said, why are we all waiting for it to go back to normal? Normal wasn't working. We don't want it to go back to normal. We want it to be better than what it was. And it's only going to be better than what it was. People say the new normal, but the new normal has a chance to be better than what it was if we are thinking in the right way, and if we're planning in the right way for that to take place. We can't just say, okay, governor said we can open, let's go. We've got to be thinking, how are we going to do this? And we've given you some ideas in the past how to address that situation, and we'll continue to as time goes on, and we talk to more and more salons and salon owners. We'll pass that information on. So the other thing that I think is going on is I talked to a young lady today who was a graduate of our school and was frustrated because she was applying for work at a grocery store because she had to be able to make it. She had to be able to provide. And the real challenge is if we haven't helped our people get their unemployment paperwork filled out, we really need to do that. That's as leadership. That's so important that you do that. Be sure that they get that unemployment coming in their direction, because people are going to get desperate, and there's nothing wrong with working in a grocery store. What I sent a podcast out to someone. It was John Gordon's Positive View, and it was an interview with Kurt Warner, and it talked about his story. Here he was, a great college quarterback who didn't get drafted, didn't make it in the NFL, and wound up while he was practicing, trying to latch on anywhere, whether it be Europe or the Arena Football League. He was working, stocking shelves overnight in a grocery store. And on the outside of that, on the other end of that, when he was done, he became a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback. Now, he could have thought, what am I doing working in this dingy old grocery store? But the mindset that he took for that, when he finally got it, when he got it, the mindset that he took, his aisles were going to look the best. And he didn't care if anybody knew it. He didn't care if anybody, his boss, the guests, anybody. He knew when he walked out of that store in the morning that the work he had done was the best in the store. And so the reality is, are we doing the best work that we can right now? We talk all the time about, the concept of, are we working in the business or on the business? Guess what? We got nothing to do besides work on the business right now. What are we doing to work on it? And are we doing the best work that we can possibly do? Our people, whether anybody notices it or not, are we doing the very best work that we can possibly do during this time to work on the business? A time that we've never had before, never been given before, but we have it now. So let's make sure that makes a difference and that makes impact when we go back to work. We're absolutely planning and forecasting and drawing out a roadmap for the future that we want to live in our industry. And I think that's extraordinary. So we should be talking more to one another. We should be communicating regularly with our teams. How are we doing that? We should be limiting the information that we take in that creates our thought processes to those people that we trust the most, to be honest. I mean, I know from just being on social media, just to keep track of a lot of our graduates and a lot of our salon owners and see what's going on. I absolutely know that there's a lot of noise. We've said that before. Noise meaning there's a lot of people talking. There's a lot of people who think that they've got all the answers or some of the answers. And you know what? In that noise, there might be some hidden gems, but in that noise also, there's some pretty questionable and maybe, just be careful is all we're saying. It's got to work for your business. Make no mistake, when Terri and I share with you what we share with you, it's got to work in your business. We might think it's right. We wouldn't say it if we didn't. But if it's not working well and or has a chance to work within your culture, within your staff and your team, and within the future cast that you have, it's not right for you. So,
well, what I like about having this, first of all, we always say leadership has a great opportunity on a daily basis, either to celebrate or respond. So right now, we're not celebrating much, right? But we can respond. And the thing that I really want in place for all of your guests is not to have to ask the question, what is your plan? And instead of saying, we understood what you were doing when you came back with a limited menu. We understood what you did when you extended your hours. We understood what you did. These are our plans coming back. And it's a pledge of your return to the community. And some businesses don't need to schedule and change things because perhaps they don't run by appointment as strictly as the salon industry does. But to be able to say we're just opening the doors, business as usual, well, I think you're missing a golden opportunity to really engage the community with what you're trying to accomplish. You could also, during the time, is give back to those who are less fortunate, maybe proceeds on a service or proceeds or maybe a discounted price or a percentage of take home could go to a cause on a certain day. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about a plan. There's so many things that you have to be prepared for when you return. And that's what's exciting about this. I don't know if you could partner with any other businesses that could make their lot in life a little easier, whether it's a floral shop that hasn't been open and they're going to be returning. Maybe you find local businesses that are together and say, how can we cross market each other when we return? Because we're going to need that kind of support from each other. So I think maybe you could create a community or a Zoom meeting with some of the other merchants in your area to say, how can we be of support to each other?
some things that I wanted also for you to think about, because we don't always have all the time in the world, and it's so funny. The people that you talk to, you're doing homeschooling that you haven't done before, and
I'm terrible at it.
And you know, it's so funny because when I don't know something that I should know, when I can't figure out a problem, I tell Jack, I said, Jack, I've already passed 7th grade. Right? I don't need to know this. and that doesn't seem to work for him. But I have to go ahead and relearn it to be able to help him.
And I tell him, let's see what Dr. Google's doing, you know, so.
and I am definitely not smarter than a seventh grader, so
I don't need to go on that show. Yeah, that's
very
right.
aware of that. I think that I'm looking for a quote, so hang on one second. Okay, I'll find it here in a second. So anyway, there's a program, and we're gonna put that out. We'll put it on our website. Any of you that have been around, Terry and I know that once a year, John Gordon does a program called the Power of Positive Summit, and it's live right now. Today I think was day 5 of the summit, but you can get back once you join. You can watch all of them. There's about 4 speakers a day, and I'll tell you what. I mean, there's some remarkable information available in very short, compact, 5 to 10 minute talks that are very powerful. You get TED Talk speakers, you get former sports. The one I was looking for was somebody that just, to me, was delightful. She's a WNBA player for the Los Angeles team, and she's in day 5, and I've got day 4 open here. Let me see if I can get back to it. So anyway, because I want to be able to give you her name. Her name was, I think, Christine. Let me look. John Gordon, day 5. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Her name is oh no, it's I'm going to say it wrong. I'm not sure how to say it. It's Chiney. Aguamike. She is a Chinny, I think is maybe how you say it, but she's a current WNBA player. She's a graduate of Stanford University. She has a sister who's also in the WNBA, and I found what she's doing. She's on the morning program with Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. And so she's the counter. You know how they always argue, right? She's the person for the counter. And I just want to give you a couple of her quotes that really, and this is just today. This is one speaker out of 4, but a couple of quotes, and I was just really impressed. She said, "You have to go through it to get to it." You have to go through it. We all have to go through this, but we also got to get to it. And I love that. You can't. And she said, "The challenge makes you stronger if you let it." And her story is really cool. She says, "Doubt is what paralyzes us. You have to stay focused and believe." And then she said, "Don't let the circumstances define you. Let it refine you. Make the most of it." So that was one. And if I go back, there was another one. I love catchy little quotes that jump at me. Let me see if this is the one.
I like, I was listening to Joel Osteen this morning, and he said, this isn't a setup. No, this isn't a setback, it's a setup. And how true is that? I mean, yeah, it's a setback. Certainly we're all feeling that, but it's a setup too.
Mm-hmm.
And how often do we get the chance? I mean, what is the biggest excuse that everyone says? I don't have time.
Yeah.
And now we have all this time, and people are still filling it with the things that, I mean, even if you think about the things you want to get done in your home, you've got all this time, even if you tackle a little bit every day, so it's not weighing on you. So when you come back to work, you don't have that list weighing on you at home. You almost get a fresh slate at home to be able to focus on your business so much. I like that. I like that a lot.
You bet. So some of the other that I saw was reinvent, don't retreat. I like that. Reinvent. That's what we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Time. Reinvent. Don't retreat and think that we're going to have to let this damage us forever going forward. It doesn't have to. but we can't come back the same. Remember that in every challenge, there's an opportunity. With every setback, there's a comeback potential. And then I like this one. It says, charge, don't cower. Don't be in the corner afraid. Charge after it. Figure out how you can be of service. See, that's some of the things that I'm seeing. People that are making a difference, they're figuring out how can they be of service. What are the obvious things? We know that this situation that we're in as an industry is going to bring about change. And a lot of that change has the chance to be positive. We have a chance to do things in the way that we wish we always could. How are we going to bring that to be? How are we going to do that as a market? Right? There's going to be amazing leaders that come out of this, and we believe that it's going to be a lot of you that are listening. We believe that one owner said to me yesterday, and I showed it to Terri. She said, "You and Terri have been training us for this moment for years. You need to trust us that we're going to implement these things. We're going to come back stronger and better." And I loved reading that. I had never thought of that. Of course, all we've tried to do all these years is the best we could for you to help you grow and improve your business, and grow and improve your profitability, and grow and improve your ability to find, hire, train, and maintain qualified and exceptional teams. So yeah, that's what we've been doing for a long time. And the challenge remains the same in that. It's bigger than us. We have to do it with a group of people. We have to do it with a group of people that we're able to pass on a mindset to, that we're like-minded, and that have a dynamism and an energy to burst forward, to charge and not cower. And so,
Well, and I think your messages could be, when you start making your plans, maybe you launch your ideas to your guests 1 week at a time. Our plan when we return, number one, our top 10 for our plan when we return. Number one, we're going to have a limited menu. Number two, we're going to be focusing on these services. Number three, we're going to be scheduling with disciplined times. Number four, whatever you want to use, but you don't have to release the top 10 all at once. You could be releasing these ideas 1 week at a time, getting your guests to understand what your plan is when you return. That shows them you're working on the business right now. I mean, I cleaned a little bit of the garage today as my mother was napping, and I just thought, what time? This is me thinking quietly. Usually when I have something heavy on my mind, I want to organize something or not, but I just kept thinking, here's the situation we have is like a dirty garage after the winter. Now, how are we going to put everything in its proper place? How are we going to spring clean this after all the wind and all the leaves and everything else have come in? And that's kind of what this is like. I felt like it was speaking to me. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. There's things that haven't in the business. Maybe there's service offerings that you've had that you carried, but it really didn't bring any revenue. Don't bring those services back when you return. You don't have to. You can make those changes, spring clean, in essence, your business right now. Steve said yesterday, this is a great time to go in and really get the once over the schools. No one's in there. Usually we have high traffic in them every day. Same for you. I mean, you can't bring a ton of people in, but what can you do bringing yourself into your business and just get lost in it a little bit and purge some things? I mean, it's time is a gift right now in ways. I mean, maybe you can't take anyone with you, but look what you can get done by yourself. I think I'm needed in the other room. Would you excuse me? And because I can see that someone's trying to walk around that shouldn't be by themselves. Okay.
Okay.
My best to all of you. Steve, you close it out, okay?
Will do.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so bringing this thing to a close, we'll be back on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll be live so that we can take live questions. We're doing our best to work out exactly how to make this work the best way that we can. Know that we're alone together. Know that we are thinking of all of you. We're praying for all of you. We care how you're doing and how you're coming through this and coming out of it. We know that the hardest thing is that we don't know when it's going to end, so to speak. When will we be able to get back? And I don't know if we'd feel better if we knew or if we really wouldn't. But I know that right now it's unnerving to not know that starting May 1st or May 4th or whenever it is, we're back to work, or it's June 1st or June 4th, we're back to work. We don't know. But what we do know is we have an opportunity right now, and let's seize the moment. So I would suggest, look to see who it is that you want input from. Who do you want to listen to ongoing? I can tell you the podcasts that I'm listening to right now. Brene Brown has a podcast that I find extremely helpful. John Gordon has a podcast as well that I find extremely helpful. Tony Robbins always has great, interesting people. Dave Ramsey has great, interesting people, and quite a few of his leadership have podcasts as well. I believe it's Frank Lencioni. Also has really candid and very good podcasts as well, as does Donald Miller, the Story Brand. I've never been disappointed in a podcast from him. So those are just some things. If you want to pick the right time, what I do with a podcast is if the title doesn't grab me, I'm probably not going to listen to it. Follow your gut on that. So I wish you the best. Let's stay in contact. As we get closer to knowing, we'll be much more urgent with details. I also, one update, most of the banks have not opened up their portal for the payroll protection program, paycheck protection program, the PPP loan that came out of the CARES Act. I'm waiting just like you are. The only bank I know, big bank I know that's opened their portal so far is Bank of America, but they are only allowing current customers of the bank who also are loan customers of the bank. So they're finding a way to kind of drill down on who exactly they're going to let in first. There are some small community banks that have their loans open, and that's just a kind of a one-off. Yours does or it doesn't. And then we're waiting on more of the larger banks to open their portal. The bank that I'm waiting for, Byline Bank in Chicago, is saying that their portal is going to be available April 8th. And so I'm hoping that that'll be the day, a couple more days to wait. And then we're able to file for that particular loan. So if you have questions, input, please leave them in the comments of this. We're not live, so I'll be able to get back and answer those as well. And until Wednesday, stay positive, stay well. Tomorrow's going to be a great weather day. Resist the chance to go out there. Go out by yourself in your yard or just with the people that you have in your house that you're around all the time. That's fine, but don't gather outside that. And I know it's going to be so hard because we don't get a lot of we get summertime, late spring, summer, and early fall is the best in Chicago. And it's going to be hard to give up one of those days tomorrow, but let's stay the course. We want to be done with this and get back to the new normal. Get back to doing what we do, doing what you do. Stand behind the chair and welcome in the public and deliver extraordinary service one guest at a time. We love all of you. Thanks for allowing us to come in and share some of our thoughts and our heart with you. Have a brilliant day.